Here we are. Welcome to the Crabcast. Crabcast episode 2. If you haven't watched episode 1, it's okay. What?
If you haven't watched episode 1, we recorded it on a laptop microphone.
Oh my god.
And it was in one ear. It was one. I mean, we didn't practice. Granted, we just wanted to do it just because. But slowly and surely we're improving, and you guys should be very thankful.
Yes, we did not understand that the sound wasn't... We knew that the sound wasn't great, but we didn't realize... We were like, oh, we have a Yeti microphone, and we put a moving blanket to absorb some of the sound, so this will be great. What a grand adventure. It's not perfect, but it's great. And apparently, it was only coming out of one side of people's speakers. Like, it was not even in mono. It was just like in stereo, but only half of the speaker. And apparently we did not record it on our Yeti podcasting microphone. We recorded it on the laptop built-in microphone. So we royally fucked the pooch on that one.
Yeah, but the content was great, so we hope you guys enjoyed it, but now we're figuring out how to get our shit together.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll forgive us, and hopefully this time it's actually okay. So we'll see. Yeah, but Crabcast episode 2.
Yeah, it's been 1 week since our last cast, and we've just been working too much and just working some more.
Yeah, so we have been very productive. We just finished wrapping the shortest production of Try This at Home that we've ever had. Usually we shoot them in kind of longer stretches, and we just kind of banged it out in one weekend.
Yeah, and also our show was announced. We can talk about it.
Yes, we are going to be featured cast members. I don't want to say cast members because that sounds like we're in a reality show.
Oh.
I mean,
we are in a reality show.
I mean, it's a reality show, but it's just like non-scripted television.
Yes.
That's what I like to think of it as.
All right.
But we're not cast members. Like, we're just people who happen to be on TV.
We're featured people.
Yes.
People who are featured.
In a docu-series, which is just fancy words for, reality television, called Heroes of Cosplay, which I like a lot better than Cosworld.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a good title.
We're happy, and it's on SyFy, and we've always been really big fans of SyFy, and so it's basically a bunch of cool stuff. And while we were doing that, we were also doing the kaiju stuff, and hopefully this week all of that stuff's gonna, come out, and you'll see all of the kaiju in its glory. And I'm not really sure how we did it, except for a lot of caffeine.
Yep, that's pretty much the only way we did it.
Ugh. Except the problem with me with caffeine is I start having too much, and then I see spiders on the walls.
Oh my god!
I just have mild hallucinations.
I don't know. I've drank caffeine my entire life since I was 13 years old, and it still makes me sick. I don't know why I keep drinking it. I think it's, I know why, because I'm addicted to it, but
yes,
that's why I keep drinking it. But it's just a love-hate relationship.
I remember I didn't drink caffeine until I started working at Electronic Arts, and we had a Starbucks in the office, not a Starbucks coffee cart, but literally a full branch of Starbucks in the downstairs of Electronic Arts.
Swanky alert, everyone.
It was pretty cool. It was right next to the video game library that you could go check out video games. So
yeah, check your privilege at the door.
I know, I am privileged. I fully admit it. So that's when I started drinking coffee every single day, and then all of a sudden I was like, how are people productive without coffee? This is like Ritalin. This is crazy. This is like Ritalin for people who don't want to jump through hoops with a psychiatrist. This is crazy cakes. Now I understand what the world is in color. I was just seeing gray before.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I always drank caffeine, so I guess I never enjoyed that colorful existence.
Yes, but I didn't realize. I was just tired all the time, and I just was like...
Goodbye, Ross! Ross is going out to get in and out, and he was trying to be really quiet, and I just thought it would be really funny.
That was a waste of time.
Yeah, good job. Maybe Ross will favorite this video now that he's featured in it.
Ross, everybody.
That was Holly's husband, Ross, just ruining the podcast. Well, technically, Holly ruined it.
I did.
She
He was just
screamed
trying to be
his name.
so quiet. It was really funny. He was, like, gently taking the
He
keys.
was trying to be considerate.
I know. I ruin everything.
Anyway, so coffee is a train wreck, nightmare, disaster town, and I regret that I ever got on that ticket to ride.
So pretty much I'm kind of a coffee snob. I mean, I used to work at coffee shops when I was at college, and I drank a lot of coffee, and I learned how coffee was made, and I worked in independent places. And it was, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I just think, a good cup of coffee is nice once in a while, even though it kind of still makes me totally violently ill if I don't eat anything.
I like coffee culture. I think it's fun that I have a little corner of my kitchen that, has my mugs all set up and has my sugar packets and my little, my little coffee set up. And that's fun. I like the ritual of drinking coffee. I just don't really like the taste. I don't really like how jittery it makes me feel. But it does kind of keep my unmedicated It does kind of keep my unmedicated
I really like how you stuttered during that sentence.
It keeps my unmedicated ADD under control. Apparently not really.
No, that was good. That was some good stuttering.
I should just take caffeine pills.
Ugh,
why do I even drink coffee?
There was like a Simpsons episode about that.
No, literally, we were making coffee tonight to get through this podcast because we're so fucking tired of our lives, and we were working all weekend on our days off from our day jobs, and we were like, we need to put the podcast out because our fans are going to want it. And by our fans, I mean our inner monologue who's like, wow, you can't even podcast 2 weeks in a row. Fuck you very much. So we were like, let's have some coffee. And then Holly was making coffee, and I was like, ooh, I don't like the taste of coffee. And I bought this like weird Valencia orange, basically Tang, that is infused with caffeine from Starbucks. And I drank that instead. So I
leave it to Starbucks to repurpose Tang and put caffeine in it.
I just don't see the downside of caffeine pills.
Whatever, you can try them next podcast and see how they make you feel.
Okay, that's a great idea. And
Jessica tries caffeine pills. Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be an experiment.
Yep, that sounds like a good time. Speaking of caffeine pills, it's kind of hilarious because I get, like, it's like on the paranoia, on the paranoia front, more or less, I've been getting these crazy emails from my step-grandpa's sister. My step-grandpa's awesome. He's like a really, with it, cool guy. But his, sister keeps sending me his emails about things like, and she's, literally, 89 years old or something crazy. I don't even know how old
sure.
she is. She's super old. And so I keep getting these emails from her about things that are, absolutely not true. Just not true at all. And I like to call them, the elderly inclined emails. Because they're I got one today that was a mosquito or something. It was a really poorly photoshopped nano mosquito. Something that is completely impossible in the technology that we have today, unless it's in the black world where we have never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a super poorly photoshopped mosquito. And it said, these are the drones that the government has, and they're watching you, and they're going to keep an eye on you, and they can draw your blood and insert a nano chip in you. I'm like, whoa, what? We don't have this technology. We literally do not. And it was, you could tell it was photoshopped, and I'm just okay, how are, obviously this is for people that don't have very good vision, because you can tell it's photoshopped.
Here's my litmus test for technology, where it's there are computers the size of your finger. I always go back to my classic example of how we are not as technologically advanced as the conspiracy theorists think we are. We tried to plug the oil spill in the Gulf Coast with trash.
Yeah.
Literally, that was our best idea from our biggest think tank scientist in Washington. Let's fucking, just toilet bowl, clog that up with some waste paper basket trash.
Just cram some trash in there, everyone.
So I'm sorry, little mosquito microbugs, I don't think are high on the radar of things that we should be fucking really afraid of.
Yeah. Hell, if I found one of those, I'd be like, fuck yes, this is awesome. You got these in our government? Man, how cool is that?
I don't get those emails. I think maybe I blocked all the people that would send me those emails, but I do see them on Facebook, and I just don't like that my Facebook timeline has turned into one big chain letter after the other of like, I'll know if you share this. And I'm like, well, yeah, you will, because it literally will notify you. It's not like those send this to 50 friends or you will die in 1 week kind of thing. Yes, you will know if I don't share this, because I don't really fucking care.
Facebook is not the place to share your like conspiracy theory dirty laundry.
Did you used to do chainmails when you were
a kid?
You didn't do chainmails?
No.
Like the handwritten chainmails.
No, I never did that.
Oh my god, I did. I remember I only got one of them, I think. And it was like this letter has gone on over 5 countries, and you must keep going. You have to write this letter to 6 friends. And it was like before photocopies were, available to, I don't know, like 7-year-old kids.
I'm sorry, when was this, like 1952?
No, I didn't have an access to a photocopier, so I sat at home, and I remember being super excited, and my mother helped me, and I wrote out my 6 letters, and I gave them to friends, and I really hoped that my letter would make a difference and that the chainmail would get all the way to China or something crazy.
Wow.
You never had that experience?
No, I did not do that, because if someone had given it to me, I would have just thrown it away and been like, this is too much work. If it was like drawing dragons, then I probably would have done it, but
I loved it. I was so excited, and I was like, this is like having a pen pal that my mother won't let me have because she's afraid it's a pedophile.
Oh my god.
So that's as close as I ever got to that. But I just and I think I still have all of those notes like in my mom's house somewhere in like a junk drawer.
Wow.
Of like folded up into little like cootie catchers.
That's crazy.
Just kept, but I am kind of a paper hoarder.
That's crazy.
But I'm not the only hoarder. You hoard different things.
It's not true. It's not hoarding.
It's not you. I think it's Ross.
It's mostly Ross.
You guys have the most nerdy bullshit I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's true.
You guys have a lot, but it's fine because then every time someone comes over to your house, they're like, whoa, it's like a museum of nerdiness in here. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, let's all talk about how awesome Holly's house is.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that. People come over and say that, but they just don't understand that it is not about, like, collecting nerd. Like, I think the people that say that, I think they feel like it's about collecting nerdy shit to, like, look nerdy. But literally, like, where my dwelling place for my entire life has always looked like this. Like, my room as a kid always had, like, a bunch of, like, Harry Potter figurines and a bunch of, like, I painted an owl bringing me my letter from Hogwarts on my ceiling as a kid. Like, I painted the owl on my ceiling bringing me my Hogwarts letter because I wanted to go to Hogwarts.
Right now, where we are sitting, there is a little, like, turducken.
It's a ducklet. A turducken is not what that is.
I don't have those Pokemon. I've never encountered that Pokemon.
It's a ducklet.
A ducklet Pokemon plush and one of the little cats from Monster Hunter as, like, a giant plush that I can see. And there's, like, a million Skylanders in my view. There's
the Doctor Strange cloak.
Literally a bunch of vinyl Minecraft figurines. You guys have a lot of tchotchkes.
That's Halo, Monster Hunter.
Look at all of that.
Like Castle Crashers. The Galaxy Quest alien sitting on the couch.
How do you dust?
I don't dust. The people I hired to dust because I can't.
Yeah, that's fair.
You have the same. I
have outsourced house cleaning, and I don't feel bad about it because I am giving employment to a very hardworking woman who immigrated from Guatemala, and she is sending her youngest son to college.
Yeah, that's great.
It's great. I don't feel bad, and I don't think people should. Apparently, people don't talk about it because it's like a shameful thing, but like, who cares? It's honest employment, and that's something to be proud of.
It's true. And, it's whatever. There's a lot of tchotchkes in here. I mean, it is what it is. It's just that I have a lot of different, and mostly it's like Ross. All of those action figures right there are all Ross's.
I know. I'm seeing a lot of finger pointing here.
The only stuff that's mine is the costume stuff, like the
yes, lots of costume. Well, I have a whole costume closet.
Yes, I mean,
too,
I have a whole room full of that stuff. Oh, and we have the stuff that we made today for Try This at Home. We aged the Zelda Link's shield, the Zelda prop that we have, and we also added some wings and aging to turtle shell to make it look like a winged Koopa shell.
Koopa, yeah.
Yeah, so there's some more dumb tchotchkes that are hanging up in my house.
Well, I like to think of those as, I don't know. Like,
sentimental.
Those are decorations. That's interior design. That's not things that you step on in the middle of the night and start screaming because they're poking in the foot.
Okay, my floor is not littered with Legos. I have some respect.
I know, there's a lot of shit on the floor from what I can see. Look, there's literally like a white headset right here. Look at that.
I can't see it.
Look, it's right
That's
there.
Ross's!
And there's a dime on the floor.
That's Ross's!
And there's those portal like plushies on the floor.
Those are mine.
And there's 2 lightsabers on the floor.
Those are also mine. But Lizzie broke one. Lizzie, why'd you break my lightsaber?
That's weird. Yeah, I don't have a transition for this, so I'm just going to bring up a car chase that happened in Los Angeles a few days ago. We were all in Little Tokyo celebrating our best friend Susie's birthday, and Graham and I actually, a few hours earlier, were parking our car in Hollywood, and a million cop cars drove by, and we were like, whoa, that's crazy. And then we forgot about it until we were eating ramen with all our friends, and we were like, whoa, there's a cop car, a car chase on TV. This is literally a blast from the past.
Well, I remember as a kid, I would always watch the car chases.
No, yeah, me too.
I would always, if there was a car chase, it would be like, I got home from school and it would be like car chase time.
Yeah.
It would be like, I'm going to sit there and do my homework and watch the car chase. It was a thing.
It was entertainment.
It was entertainment.
And then you always felt really sad when it was over.
Yeah, because it was like, oh man, now I have to go, because then the news would not only it would be over, but the news would just recap it and talk about speculation
over
for the next,
and over.
2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what I expected. Every time you expect some kind of grandiose ending to a car chase, like the car's going to take off like a rocket to the moon.
Yeah,
or something.
it never does.
And
or the guy's going to
oh.
get out and it's going to be like the tentacle alien from Men in Black, having a baby.
I don't remember. I don't remember any car chase where it ended with some kind of fiery explosion. Usually the car runs out of gas, or usually they get in some kind of fender bender from the police bumping them, or usually
they hit them with a tire spike.
Yeah, they just stop and give up, and that's I don't know why we watch these things if it's not that exciting. We're just why? I guess it's the sheer bewilderment at why these people think that they can just joyride around with 50
helicopters following them and 100 cop cars.
It's like the guy who goes and tries to eat a 70-ounce steak in 5 minutes, and you're just I've got to watch this because this is a futile effort.
Yeah, it's just I feel like it's just a thing of LA. It's just a thing from living in Southern California. That when there's a car chase, you just have to sit there and watch it because the person's so stupid to think that they can get away.
And then everyone inadvertently always goes to the OJ car chase.
Oh,
we
yeah.
all talk about it as it's some kind of nostalgic memory from our past. It's some old friend that you haven't seen in years. You're oh.
No, it's you're talking about the car chase, then all of a sudden everyone, you see it, and everyone's oh, car chase. You're eating dinner with friends, and then all of a sudden it's I remember where I was sitting when the OJ chase happened.
Yeah, no one talks about
it's 9/11. I remember where I was when the OJ chase happened. Okay,
I was,
and he was proven innocent. What crazy place do we live in?
I know.
He ran from the police.
Whatever. His lawyer was Kim Kardashian's father. There you go. That's
wait, was he?
You didn't know that?
No.
Really?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Is that why they're famous?
Robert Kardashian. Yes, Robert Kardashian.
That's why. Wait, they're famous because of OJ's trial?
Well, that's why they were always wealthy, but that is kind of what the family became known for.
I had no idea.
I think Keeping Up with the Kardashians was a spin-off from some other, like, reality show about kind of celebutantes.
So wait.
So they got a spin-off.
Is he on the show now?
No, he's dead.
Oh.
No, he died of cancer a long time ago.
Oh. That's
probably
crazy.
karma for, like, getting OJ off. Let's just be honest here.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but everyone remembers where they were. I realized just the other day that there's some kind of weird conspiracy in my life because I was home for several major events. I was at home sick when the Northridge quake hit.
Well, I was at home when the Northridge quake
I was at home sick when the OJ car chase happened.
I was at home when the OJ car chase happened.
And I was at home sick when 9/11 happened.
I was not homesick when 9/11 happened.
And
I was too busy listening to the Harry Potter soundtrack.
And I feel like I was at home sick when Princess Diana died, too.
Oh, I don't even remember where I was when Princess Diana died.
I don't know, but I really wanted a Princess Diana Beanie Baby. That's all I remember.
I had that Beanie Baby.
I remember I was seeing, as far as you can see, a boy in the 5th grade. I was seeing a boy in the 5th grade, and he went to, I want to say, like, Catalina Island or something. No, he went to Hawaii. He went to Hawaii, and I asked him to bring me back a present from Hawaii. And he asked me what I wanted, and for some reason I said I wanted a Princess Diana Beanie Baby from Hawaii. And instead, he brought me back a bottle of Stetson's cologne, Stetson's men's cologne from Walmart. And then we kissed behind one of the portable
men's cologne.
Yes.
Did he steal it?
I don't know. He was in the 5th grade, and I was in the 5th grade, and that was my first kiss. Was after he gave me the bottle of Stetson's cologne, and then we kissed behind the portable classroom.
Wow.
But it was like a 5th grader kiss.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, although, like, at the time, I do remember hearing about all these other kids who were, like, French kissing and, like, having, like, oral sex in the 6th grade. And I remember thinking, like, I could not wrap my head around it. I was like, we are 11 years old.
I didn't know what sex was until I was much, much older than even, like, that age.
I don't remember when I found out about sex. I feel like I had a vague memory of it for a long time. But I do know specifically that I was like, we are far too young for this.
Yeah,
I was like,
I can't talk about the no-nos.
I wasn't like, I was just like, no, that's not appropriate. I'm too little for that. I can't even really reach the upper counter very well.
I was too concerned about collecting Beanie Babies at that age.
Oh, me too. I still have all of mine. My mom won't get rid of them.
Really? I got rid of all of them except for the ones that are worth a lot of money, quote unquote, back when they were worth money, and I wanted to keep them, like the toucan. Mm-hmm. Like, I kept the toucan. I have, like, some of the ones that, like, were sentimental because my grandma spent, like, $1 bajillion getting them for me in Vegas when I used to go to Vegas as a kid and hang out with her and my pappy. We'd go Beanie Baby hunting at the thrift stores. Literally, that sounds abysmal, but it was actually, for a kid like I was, it was like the best treasure hunting experience in the world.
Yeah, Beanie Babies were amazing.
It's too bad no one cares about them anymore.
No.
Why? Like, what were we thinking? Like, literally, like, what were we thinking? I feel like even at the age when my grandma was, like, buying them all, I could have been like, Granny, these are not going to be worth any money. These are toys with beans in them. Why are we buying these for, like, $200? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that should have been stopped. Like,
that should have been stopped.
That wasn't acceptable. That shouldn't have happened. And America regrets our Beanie Baby obsession.
I guess.
Like, at least Cabbage Patch dolls. Like, I don't even know. It's consumerism. Just, I don't know. I can wrap my head around all of that stuff in the same way that when I was in the 6th grade, I could wrap my mind around kids having sex and doing drugs. I was like, we're 11.
It's true.
Come on, people. Is your life so bad that I knew that sex sounded exhausting then, just like I know it is now. I'm just like, no, I would much rather color in a book.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. I'd rather eat cinnamon rolls.
Did you hear about the new Xbox changes?
No, I didn't.
So Xbox, as far as I know, they announced, I think for Xbox One, and I'm ready for this. I could totally be wrong about this, but they basically said that as part of their kind of like anti-harassment and commitment toward making gaming fun for everyone, they're going to have ratings for
Okay.
everyone. So you can kind of like upvote, downvote, or like rate people that you play with.
Okay.
And the people who are rated low all have to play with each other.
What?
Yeah, they have to play with each other.
What?
So like all the trolls can only play with all the trolls.
What?
I think that's the most amazing. Like, I hope that they do that.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
I hope that they don't back down from stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be great, because then if you, like, go and play a game with someone and they're like, you could just play with, like, super nice, like, friendly, non-problematic people.
Yeah, and when you're playing in a group, your group's rating is only as high as the lowest scored person.
That would just encourage everyone to be super polite.
I know. I feel like that is what the internet needs. It does not need... I mean, it, of course, needs some security and safety and punishment. But if people are rewarded for good behavior, I do feel like the vast majority will realize that bad behavior gets them nowhere.
Yes, I also think that when people have children in this day and age, if they allow their like 8 to 16-year-old pretty much children on the internet, they need to be like, this is pretty much just like talking in a public forum.
You should have to have training wheels to use the internet. Training wheels, a permit. I don't know. I'm like very socialist about this.
I think it's just like if you're going on the internet, like these kids, if they go on the internet and like fucking like start talking shit about people and start being little jerks, they're going to find that pretty much if you're a jerk on the internet, you will be found out who you are and people will know. And eventually jobs will look for that stuff and be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're totally socially unacceptable. Mm-hmm. And now that you're 30, you can't get a job.
If my kid ever talked the way I hear half of these like 8-year-olds talking, I would slap it so hard in the face. I'd be like, Eraser, you do not talk that way.
Oh my god.
My fictional kid in my mind, his or her name is Eraser, because all of these celebrities have these ridiculous names.
Oh
like
my god,
Apple,
like Northwest,
Apple, Northwest. Like that one's ridiculous.
Northwest, like
so
it's
my
an airline. It's an airline.
So my kid's name is Eraser in my head. I think it's poetic.
It's fine. It's fine.
His nickname would be Eerie.
I don't think it is.
Racer. Racy.
Well, I hope that they do that with the Xbox. It'd be really funny. And I would just want to tape those. Like, actually, maybe reverse trolling would become a thing.
Oh my god.
You go into the really mean games and are just super duper polite. You're just like, oh, thanks. And they're just like, beep, 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 like yelling at you and like saying all these terrible things. And you're just like, great game, friends.
Yeah.
The
polite police. You just go in there and reverse troll. I would love to see that. Hopefully that day will come soon. And then hopefully the day when like there's like proper courses in elementary school about how to be a citizen of the internet will exist.
Yeah,
it's you have to take geography, you have to take math, and you have to take citizenship of the internet courses.
Yeah. And citizenship of the internet just teaches you to just not be a dick in general.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just be a nice guy. Just be a nice guy on the internet.
Yep.
Just, I mean, just be constructive.
Yep. Speaking of society being like literally the worst thing in the world, for Susie's birthday, we went to the Museum of Death, and there were so many horrible pictures of like serial killers and like dead bodies. This isn't in right in Hollywood, right by like pretty much downtown Hollywood, and it was ridiculous. It was so gross.
I have to say,
it was fun. Like I had fun. It was really weird and cool, but like, oh my god,
for anyone who lives in LA, it is definitely worth going to just to see the
two-headed turtle. They have a live two-headed turtle, like an actual Siamese turtle.
I did wish that the turtle had more ambience in its tank. It was just water.
Yeah.
And a little ledge, because clearly the turtle couldn't scoot around because it only had 2 legs and 2 heads.
It was only it was a little awkward.
I don't remember what its name is. I'm going to say it was like Petrie or something really
adorable. It was probably named after some like heavy metal singer. That place had a very metal vibe to it.
Yeah, it did. It seemed like a Swedish death band inside there.
I would have liked it more if like the metal would have been toned down like 5% to like a more like, because there was a room at the end that was just a projector with this guy going blah, 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 with like heavy metal playing, and the projector was like playing like, I mean, the whole museum was like really interesting and cool, but then you got to this very confusing part at the end where the projector was playing like a rat, like a dead rat getting eaten by maggots, and fast forward, which is like, okay, that's like a weird like modern art exhibit piece, like, okay. But then the guy,
death metal.
No, then the guy would start talking over it and be like, this rat is gonna die, and it's gonna get eaten by these maggots.
Oh wait, I did not remember that.
Yes, he was talking over it. He was like, and the death will come after us all, and then and then it would show, then it showed like a shark attack. He was like, this man's got his leg bitten off. Like, that's what it was.
He was narrating it.
Yes, he was narrating it in the death metal voice.
As if he's like the death metal Morgan Freeman or something.
Yeah, he was narrating it in the death metal voice. Like, it was like, and we sat in there for a little bit waiting for everyone to like do their rounds in the museum, because I had seen enough disgusting like cut up bodies that looked like weird like pig carcasses.
Well, you were literally just looking at all of the crime scene photos.
Yes, but that was the most disturbing thing, so I like couldn't turn my eyes away from it.
Just drawn to it.
I couldn't turn my eyes away.
There was a lot of stuff. I want to go back because there was a lot of stuff going on. I felt a bit rushed because I didn't want to be the person who was sitting there reading every single little like text box trying to find out. And sometimes there would just be stuff and they would have no explanation for it.
Yeah, it was like, it was kind of eclectic. Like it needed a little bit of an overhaul.
Yeah, it needed some heavy curation.
Yeah, they do not have their curators are probably just too busy in their death metal bands to clean up the museum.
Well, they said that that's only half their collection. I was like, I don't think you should have half your collection out at one time. Like, you should probably like tone it down.
Edit people, edit. Give people a reason to come back. But
yeah, that's true. But the Death Museum, it was interesting. I did think it was a bit sensational.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
what part? The death metal at the end with the maggots, or like?
Well, I don't know. I liked the general feeling of it. You're leaving out the part of the death metal where it was set up like it was a viewing, like a funeral viewing.
Oh, I forgot about that because I was like too focused on what a poor presentation the projector was doing.
Yes, no, it was sitting there like a viewing.
It was a funeral home. It's like a fake funeral home, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like basically watching decomposition.
Yeah.
I do think that people are a little... everyone gets really squeamish about death. I don't nerd out about a lot of things. I get very nerdy about things like classical literature and Shakespeare and musical theater. And I get very nerdy about death culture, which most people do not even know what that is. And it is, I don't know, it's a big part of my life. And I just kind of nerd out. I'm really into death as a way to discuss life. And I enjoyed myself at the Death Museum.
I'm one of those people that does not like to think about mortality at all.
I was just about to ask you, what do you want to happen to your body when you die?
No, I don't want to talk about that because I just want the singularity to happen so that I can be in a robot.
All right, have you not actually thought about that stuff and discussed it?
No, of course I've thought about that stuff. It's terrible.
Do you have like a plan with your husband? What happens?
No.
Oh my god.
Because I don't like talking about it.
But like, if something happened tomorrow, like...
Nothing is going to happen.
Ross would not know what to do.
Ross doesn't know how to put on his pants, so I think that's the last of my worries.
Well, he's definitely not going to favor this video now. Unless you're listening to this on iTunes, in which case, thanks for supporting us.
No, I mean, yes, it's a serious thing, and it's hard to deal with, and... I don't know. I mean, yeah, so you have to think about it. And actually, no, I have thought about it. I have a will and all that stuff that actually has all that written in it. So, like...
What are you going to do with your body?
I don't really care. Just whatever's easier for the person. You're dead, so you don't even know what's going on. Like, if you're dead, you're dead. Like, whatever happens after that really doesn't even matter to me. Just whatever is easier on the poor person who has to deal with it.
Are you going to have, like, a DNR in place?
A what?
Do not resuscitate?
Oh, yes, of course. No one wants to be a vegetable.
Do you have a living will?
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's good. So you have thought about it.
Yes, well, yes, I had to, because you have to, if you, like, have any sort of assets, you have to write about that stuff. You have to have that.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't. You'd be very surprised.
Oh, I know a lot of people don't. It's a it's a thing. But yeah. So there you go.
I want to donate my body to science.
Can you do that?
Yes, you can. I want to donate my body to a university, and I want little anthropology students to study my bones. Actually, the thing about donating your body is it's really difficult, if not near impossible, to dictate what you want to happen to your body. So a lot of people don't realize that when they donate their body to science, they could be donating it to plucky anthropology students to learn about anatomy, or they could be donating it to Nissan to test airbags in cars.
They don't use dead bodies.
Yes, they do. They absolutely use dead bodies.
God damn it, that's disgusting.
They use cadavers.
Oh, I thought they used those friendly little crash dummies.
No.
With the little smiley faces. Why are they in the commercials?
What? Because they can't show cadavers in the commercials.
Oh my god. Well, don't lie to me.
Would that make you want to buy a car?
Well, it would make me feel a lot more like they were being honest about their car's performance. If they didn't have smiling crash dummies.
Anyway, if you're interested in all of this, you should read the book Stiff.
I'm not interested.
The Curious Life of Human Cadavers.
If you kind podcast listeners are interested, you should, because you're welcome to nerd out with death about Jessica while I try and follow who's the guy that wrote The Singularity Is Now? Whatever. I'm just going to hope that we all turn into robots, because that's the future.
Well, whatever. You have your nerdy tchotchkes, and I literally just bought a resin cast of a fetus skull the other day. So,
yes.
We all have our burdens that we have to bear.
It's fine. But at least we're not dead today. But in retrospect, it was the 4th of July this week.
It was the 4th of July, which basically means that all of the month of July, there are just fireworks going off near my house.
Because people just think it's totally cool that 4th of July is just an ongoing holiday where there's like, all right, we're going to go down to Mexico and get ourselves a big haul and just start sending them off.
No, I'm sorry. I keep seeing all of those like giant fireworks, like basically pop-up shops. And I'm like, these are illegal. How are you even able to sell these? I know that you're not just selling those little sparklers and pop rocks.
No, they're selling like the Big Daddy face melter or something.
Oh my god. I love how you're like rustling
I
plastic right in front of the microphone.
I messed it up. I'm sorry.
Holly got In-N-Out, and now she's trying to eat her In-N-Out in the middle of our podcast.
I won't touch it.
I mean, you can. I don't want it to get cold. It's not my In-N-Out. I don't really care if it gets cold. It's yours. I'm just going to have to watch you eat it.
I'm not going to wait.
Are you sure?
Yes.
We'll all sit here and
I'm going to wait.
We'll listen to you eat if you want. I'm sure some people are into that sort of thing.
Oh my god. So anyway, 4th of July, when Jessica and I were kids back in our hometown, in Hillbilly Land.
San Bernardino.
Our parents wouldn't let us, go outside.
No.
Especially, it was 4th of July and New Year's. New Year's was the worst, because I think it was mostly New Year's. 4th of July, we would go outside, because I think that was less a thing. It still happened, but 4th of July and New Year's, people would literally walk outside.
To just start shooting off
their guns. Not even a joke.
Into the air.
And you'd think that, our parents were paranoid. No, you could hear it. You could hear guns going off.
Everywhere.
Just, shooting in the air, guns, handguns. Just going patoo, patoo, ridiculous.
As if it was like Speedy Gonzales when that semi-racist character would come in and just be like, arriba, arriba, and just shoot guns in the air.
Yeah,
no.
It was like that.
No, it was real, and people were just I don't know. It was a lot of different cultural backgrounds.
Yeah.
But all of them shared this necessity, apparently, on these two major holidays to just shoot guns straight up into the air.
Yep.
And
so our parents wouldn't let us outside on New Year's. We'd have to bang pots and pans. We would literally, I don't know, it sounds like we're, honestly, living in, some caveman day, because we would just bang pots and pans in our doorway, and it's because people were shooting off guns.
I did not bang pots and pans.
Yes, my dad and I would bang pots and pans.
The only time I remember ever banging pots and pans was when Obama got elected to president, and that's only because literally the whole town of Berkeley, basically started rioting, so I wanted to feel involved without having to get outside, so I just, opened my window and banged a pot and felt like I was part of the celebration. Just so that I could do something like I'm doing right now, where I could talk about it in all nostalgic kind of a way.
Right.
But no, I did not do that. My mother was, to be fair, pretty paranoid about that stuff, and I resented her, but I am glad that I don't have a bullet in the brain and have to think about how I want my body disposed when I was a kid, because I didn't get shot from a bullet coming straight down.
It's true.
I wonder how many, like, stray bullet deaths there are every year. I bet it's pretty marginal.
It's probably pretty marginal. I feel like that would be... I mean, I'm probably higher in LA.
Oh, yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I'm sorry. LA is the city where in, like, 2002, you couldn't drive on the freeway without being a little concerned that someone was going to shoot you.
Yeah, that's
Do
true.
you remember that?
Yeah.
Where, like, people were literally just shooting.
It was a drive-by.
Yes.
Drive-bys, like, in the 80s, there were drive-bys.
No, like, literally when we were in high school, I remember people were shooting the backs of cars.
Yeah.
Just for no reason on, like, the 210 freeway.
Yep, that happened.
I mean, sometimes I think we live in this crazy Mad Max society.
We do.
Where people can just shoot out the backs of cars or shoot guns into the air.
I'm sorry, but if anyone listening to this has ever driven in downtown LA past, like, Skid Row or, like, by the train station, like, literally it is a Mad Max society. People are living in tents. Like, they're just legit living in tents. Like, it's super crazy and sad. And it's like, what are we doing?
Oh,
There's hundreds of people, living
all
in tents on the road, like, in the middle of downtown Los Angeles, butting up right next to these super fucking nice places.
I think the city gives them the tents.
I don't even know.
It's like you're technically not supposed to loiter and live there, but they just look the other way, because it's literally like 5,000 people in the span of like a 2-block radius who are just like living on the street. I remember the first time I saw Skid Row was just a few years ago, and I just couldn't believe my eyes. I was just like, what is going on? This is literally a shanty town.
Yeah, no, it looks like the end of the world. It legit looks like the end of the world. I remember driving down it on my first time on accident, and I had this little tiny car. It was a Suzuki X90. If you look up a Suzuki X90, you will see what ridiculous car this was. And it was bright purple.
Yeah.
And so I, like, turned down the wrong road, and when I first moved to LA, and, like, ended up driving down Skid Row, and literally I, like, freaked out and turned my car around in the middle of the road in downtown LA.
Oh, no.
And, like, drove back the other direction because it was so scary. It was scary. There are nice parts of LA, but that's not one of them.
I kind of wanted to have a musical break here, but I don't really want to leave our listeners with this, like, sad
description of Los Angeles.
No, I'm just sad.
First we talked about death, and I mean, pretty much this has just been
Well, there's nothing, death's not a downer.
Yes,
it's
it
a natural
is.
part of life.
Oh my god.
Let's listen to some music.
As someday it may happen that a victim must be found, I've got a little list of society offenders who might well be underground and who never would be missed. There's the pestilential nuisances who write for autographs, or people who have flabby hands and irritating laughs, or children who are up in dates and foil with them flat, or persons who in shaking hands shake hands with you like that. Ooh, and authored persons who once born in tete-a-tates insist they'd none of them be missed. He's got them on the list, and then none of them be missed,
Something we were talking about today that I would like to share with our listening audience, because I keep walking past billboards for trailers, and the only one I give a shit about is Pacific Rim. But one that is just an affront.
It's the only one I give a shit about,
The
too.
one that is affront to my senses is the fact that somehow the X-Men movies keep happening. And I'm just like,
you don't want
what?
more Hugh Jackman in your life?
I like Hugh Jackman, and I think his abs and his... I can't even talk about it without getting a little bit of a blush, but he adds a lot. He has a lot of assets that add to the movies. But no, overall, I think that the X-Men franchise has just been translated very poorly to screen.
I think that, the Wolverine one was by far the worst. Like, they ruined Deadpool. They just, like, made him just an absolute nightmare-ish version. The character was not right at all.
Just think about it.
They covered up his mouth.
I don't think I could ever even, like, hear about Nightcrawler after I hated the cartoon so much.
I love Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's such a cool character.
In the cartoon?
I didn't watch the cartoon.
Oh, God. Please watch the cartoon and tell me you don't, like, hate Nightcrawler. I think it's his voice actor. I was just like, you are grating. You are grating on my nerves, and Nightcrawler is a big fucking, like, annoyance in my life, and you just, like, keep appearing and disappearing.
Nightcrawler's, like, one of my favorite characters in X-Men.
Yes, well, you haven't seen the cartoon.
Okay.
I feel like we should watch the cartoon.
I thought the second X-Men one was probably the best.
I just want to stop.
Nightcrawler.
I want to stop this podcast right now and have you listen. Like.
Is it the German one or the, like, other one?
No, here, we're going to stop this and you're going to listen to it. We're going to have another musical break.
Okay.
Okay. After several Nightcrawler tribute videos
with two Evanescence featuring such great bands as Evanescence
and Eminem,
we
finally found a clip from X-Men Evolution with the distasteful Nightcrawler shit that I just abhorred.
Here's the problem: is that he's supposed to be German. That did not sound like a German accent.
No, he sounded Indian.
No, he did not sound German.
I can't even do it.
It didn't even sound like a normal accent. It was not a German accent. Like, whoever was either directing that poor guy or whatever his experience was not a German accent. Like, the character is German, and he sounded like a weird mix of, like, Indian, German, and, like, a guy pretending that he's German.
I'm sorry. I think that, honestly, X-Men Evolution fucked the franchise for me, and then the movies just were literally...
But hold on, Professor X, Patrick Stewart. Like, who's Patrick Stewart?
Okay, if Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen and Hugh Jackman were all by themselves in a room where literally no bad writing could touch them, I think that X-Men would have been awesome.
All right.
But unfortunately, Professor Xavier can't carry the whole series by himself.
That's fair.
I mean, just admit it.
That's fair. No. I mean, I did like the part in the third movie where Magneto, like, for no reason moved the bridge in San Francisco. I just
that
made no sense, but it sure looked cool.
Too many bad things have touched me in terms of the X-Men franchise. I remember I don't like going to panels very much, and I remember one of the first Comic-Cons we went and sat in the X-Men panel, and like 5 people were like, "Is Jean Grey gonna come back?"
Oh my god, no. I remember literally in that panel, we were all sitting there, one of our first panels. This guy walks up and he's like,
Kitty Pryde.
Kitty Pryde was not even mentioned. He was like, when's Kitty Pryde coming back? Like, totally sounded like that went straight into his spank bang.
Yeah.
Like, and the guys were like, she's not even in this series. Like, I don't know. And he's like, oh, okay. And just, like, wandered off, like, just waiting to, like, fiddle with his winky. It was disgusting.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. X-Men's ruined for me. I'm just glad that Marvel can't touch Avengers with their dirty, sticky fingers to ruin that too.
No, it's true.
I just don't know.
I do have to say that whenever the Doctor Strange movie might get announced at Comic-Con,
that'd be pretty cool.
Ugh. If that happens, I'm literally going to lose my shit.
I want to make a Dormammu costume.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, I'd like to. Fun. I'd like to do Dormammu.
It'd be really fun.
I just want to make a costume that's fucking easy to wear.
Your Nightmare one was easy to wear.
No, it wasn't. It took me 2.5 hours to get into makeup.
The physical costume.
Yeah, and how many times can I wear that costume without the makeup? Yeah, without looking like a gymnast? Never. I'd look like I just got lost from Cirque du Soleil if I didn't wear the makeup.
It's true.
It took 2.5 hours to put the makeup on. I just want a fun little cloth costume. Like, you just get to put on a tunic shirt and a fucking cool cape and be Doctor Strange.
Woo! Just ran out the door.
Look at Shanti Camelu! And I'm just like, okay, 3 hours later, I'm finally in costume.
Well, if you did do a Dormammu, what would you...
No, that wouldn't be an easy costume either. No. I just need a super, super easy costume that can be my go-to cosplay costume.
Well, you have to think on that.
I should just be one of those, like, pilots in Pacific Rim and just wear, like, an aviator jacket and, like, some dog tags. That's gonna be my go-to cosplay. Just, like, a badass aviator.
Alright.
Just a Jaeger pilot.
Why don't you just, like, Chip from Chippendale? You know, the Rescue Rangers?
Yes, I know the Rescue Rangers.
You just wear the coat? People just ask you, you just wear a bomber jacket. What are you? I'm just Chip from Chippendale.
I saw a really good Gidget once. Or Gadget. Gidget.
Gidget's the surfing movie.
Gadget. I saw a really good Gadget.
But it's like a girl dressed as Gadget.
Yeah, but she didn't go all the way furry about it. She I don't know. I'm just gonna be a Jaeger pilot. I'm settled on it. Oh my god, we can wear a little, like, cute little bomber jackets on Thursday when we go see Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah. We're gonna go. Apparently there's, like, this thing now that, like, you know, back in the day, you'd have to see the movies at midnight. Like,
when it premiered.
You would have to wait in line until midnight to see the movie. But now, everyone's just, like, pussed out so hard that there's showings at 10:30 called a sneak.
But it's not actually the sneak. That would be the premiere. That's, like, the first showing. That's not a sneak showing.
No, it's the first showing, and it's at 10:30. So it's like, well, now there's no culture about waiting around at midnight. It's just like, well, you have 10:30, and guess what? You got reserved seats, so you don't have to wait in line.
Yeah, and this isn't, like, just something that's afforded to us because, I don't know, we're in the industry or,
no,
like,
because let me tell you right now that we did not get any sneak peeks of Pacific Rim of the actual movie. We did not get to see it, and I'm very upset about it.
Whatever. It is what it is. I'm excited.
Because I'm so excited.
We already talked about how much we love Guillermo. We didn't talk about another. Are we allowed to talk about?
What?
Probably we can't talk about that. Well, through a series of unrelated events, we met Robert Kaczynski, who was in the movie, and he's really going places, and he is the nicest guy, and he's a huge gamer.
That was filmed the same day that we did the Guillermo stuff.
Well, yeah, I didn't know if we were
it's fine. We can talk about that.
Okay, well, we met Robert Kaczynski, and actually he is making us reconsider watching True Blood.
It's true.
We're like,
it's true.
Do we want to podcast tonight, or do we want to go watch some True Blood, because he is a pretty good actor. And he's a Mass Effect fan and a BioWare fan, so we got to talking to him, and we were, like, nerding out. And
he played WoW, so we talked about our old WoW days.
Yeah, and
old World of Warcraft days.
I don't know. It's cool to meet a established actor who is, you know, in the mainstream media, who just, you know, likes being a normal guy and nerding out about the same things you do. I think that that's the best thing about not calling yourself a nerd, is that it's not the only thing that defines who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
But going totally swinging the pendulum the other way, I would like for us to wear little bomber jackets, even though it's like 105 degrees, to Pacific Rim when we go see it.
Ugh.
Casual cosplay.
Oh, God.
It's that, or we wear the kaiju.
Oh, God.
And the kaiju smells really bad.
It does smell bad. They got hit by the sprinklers outside.
It smells like mildew and BO.
Yeah, well, we'll think about it.
Well,
either way, I'm excited to see the movie.
Tune in next week to find out what we wore to the Pacific Rim not sneak.
Yeah, and to hear about how we liked the movie.
Yeah, we'll talk about the movie. We'll talk about other series of unfortunate events that probably occurred within the week. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thanks for listening again. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Apparently no one photoshopped any pictures of us. So I'm not going to ask for you to do that again, because you should just follow your bliss and Photoshop things that make you happy, not necessarily things we're forcing you to do. So
it's true.
We will figure out the visual for this podcast, which is now nearing its end. So I'm assuming that by the time you've listened to this, we have figured and sorted our shit out.
Yep, it's true.
Let the music ride us out.
Whee!